Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 130 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Char.
Hello.
And Alex.
Hello everyone.
This week, we'll find some things to talk about. We got a nice juicy community question from our good friend Isaac. There's a little bit going on at Capcom. Xbox apparently, Microsoft don't know how to keep a server running. And we played a couple of games. We also had a winner on the word challenge, which I'm excited to talk about. But I suppose how we all been doing? Alex, it's been a little while since you've been on the show. What have you been up to?
So people in the Discord might know I was made redundant about 6 weeks ago. I found a new job. I was due to start on Monday, and I got COVID. So I haven't started my new job yet, and I'll be starting next week. Now, my wife and possibly my kids will be testing positive as well. So,
Yep,
it's
just how it goes.
It's been a fun couple of months. But we're all, apart from COVID, reasonably well. Everything's all good. Everything. We haven't lost the house, so that's the main thing.
Yeah. Congrats on the new job, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, and to your wife, give him hell.
Yeah.
You kept trying to get me to help her out with stuff, and I'm like, no, like I'm telling you, you're gonna regret this.
I have the black lung. Oh, I'm so sick.
I was playing Plague Tale last month, I think it was. And
it's a sign.
Yeah, that's good. They call that foreshadowing, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Chekhov's rat. And Keo, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing
all right, let's move
good.
on. All right. No,
All right.
I'm just kidding.
I guess it has been a couple of weeks since I've been on here as well,
Yeah.
but I haven't really been up to much. I've just been trying to crack on with some streaming stuff and hit and miss, just work as well. So
As it always is.
really not a lot's changed. So
Yeah, I literally just got back from a work trip last week, from yesterday. So I just got back, and so I'm just kind of trying to readjust. I haven't played as much as I'd like, but we will get to that. But first, let's as always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is a place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. We love our community members, and we love our shit posting. But speaking of our community, we have a question here from Isaac, Mr. Logic Dad himself, who says, "Hey guys, what is the most you paid for a game or DLC or / in-game content, etc., etc.? Do you think it was worth it? Thanks for taking my question." He's thinking about picking up some games for the 360 and getting a code for the DLC because the codes won't work after the shutdown. So it's like $30 for some, again, a lot of the stuff just hasn't gone on sale, and it's kind of, companies have been shut down and all kinds of shit. A lot of expensive stuff.
Codes aren't going to work. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
Not
it's
that I
already
have
gone. Yeah.
Not that I have a stack of them laying around at all, but I never even thought about that.
Yeah, at that point, it'll just be like, well, see ya. I'm definitely not playing whatever that game is,
Yeah.
I'll load it up one day and it's like title update not available or some shit. So,
Yeah.
so everything boots in offline mode. I don't know.
I am really concerned about how long the 360 is going to be sticking around with the non-backwards compatible stuff. I mean,
yeah,
it'd be great if they could make another push at getting some of that stuff done, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen at this point. So.
yeah, and I mean, Sony have doubled down and said that they're not shutting their store. So, I mean,
it's kind of funny, that whole issue. When I had a PlayStation 2 and was thinking about what I was going to next, didn't even factor into, am I going to be able to play these games on the next console? But now we're talking about a 2-generation-old machine. If it shuts down, we've all had time, right?
For the most part, yeah.
We've all had time to do the things we want to do. If it went, I don't want it to go.
Sure.
But if it did, man, it was an absolutely terrific machine.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've been feeling guilty recently about all the 360 backlog that I just haven't got back to. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be devastated if it shut down. And
The ultimate server closure, isn't it?
Yeah, right. It's like imagine it's like, oh shit, I got 50 games to finish. Shit. Yeah, and again, I know some stuff is there's some Guitar Hero stuff that I'll never finish. I don't think I'll ever get back to finishing Guitar Hero 3 or World Tour. I'm just the peripheral stuff, and there's
I think I finished Guitar Hero 2, but
I did too, but that
had a friend who had a special machine.
Yes, right. Yeah, that always helps.
Yeah. To some people, that's a fan in front of a microphone in World Tour.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, okay. And I do consider being like, maybe I should just knuckle down and just do the 360 stuff. But it is really hard to. There's like pulling teeth a lot of the time in terms of what I've got left to do there. I think I mentioned a few weeks ago. I have a couple of unstarted games that I've just sat it there, and I had Two Worlds, which if you don't know is kind of a Oblivion style open world RPG kind of thing with levels and that kind of stuff, fantasy thing. And I tried playing it, and the frame rate is so bad that it actually hurt my eyes to play. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to suffer through this. I don't need this in my life. I think I'll be okay without it.
I've long since made my peace with 360. When we were doing real gamer score days, I had looked at all the games I had started in my pre-achievement hunting completionist type days and went, I'm going to finish all these ones. These ones I'm not good enough to finish. These ones, what you're asking of me is too much. You can piss off.
Yeah.
And I spent about 2 years working on that kind of stuff. Sorry. And then anything else that's not finished, it's not going to get finished. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that stage where I'm like, I know there's a few, I can squeeze a little bit more out of it, but I'm getting towards the end where it's like we're getting towards the end of the blood and the stone,
Yeah, I think the deals. I mean, the digital stuff is probably like the worst, right? Yeah. Anything you bought that might just disappear. So
yeah. But in terms of like what you guys have paid for stuff, like, there any games in particular you're like, I paid a lot of fucking money for that, especially if it's like banned for buck stuff, where it's like, man, I paid a lot for a DLC that was not great or was really short, or anything spring to mind?
Probably the main thing, and Alex, you probably feel this a little bit with your Dead Island. How many times have I bought the Resident Evil series?
Yeah.
So like that series is, whatever platform I can really with that one. So and I just bought them again on GOG. So because they've just released the original ones on there. So, but in terms of 360 stuff, probably the thing would be Gears of War 3, because I already had the Halo 3 console and ended up with, I bought separately the limited edition Gears of War 3 game and then bought the console, which also had a copy of the game with it. So,
right, yeah. Oh, man.
Just on that, I think I've answered the question a little bit differently. The proper answer, I think, is what's like the most expensive. Sniper Elite 4 or Zombie Army 4.
Zombie Army 4,
which Flog the Dead Horse, the Rebellion, and their DLC strategies are pretty fucking bullshit, to be fair.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah,
multiple
I haven't got
season passes, and and even Sniper Elite 3, I think, had a season pass.
Yeah,
and then they released an additional DLC.
Yeah, they did.
Not fucking cool. But yeah, Zombie Army 4, like, they released as DLC missions, as many missions that were in the main game. Like, if you finish the end of that game, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's pretty fine. No, there's a whole nother game in the DLC. Like,
and you pay just as much for the extra half.
It's I mean, more, because you might get a cheap disc.
True.
Zombie Army 4 was on Game Pass when I played it, so I paid nothing for it. But then they got me with that fucking DLC. But that's not.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, it's funny. Like, thinking of DLC, I mean, the Lego Dimension stuff was DLC.
Yeah, Toys
in
to
physical
Life
form, and I have every version of every. I've got both versions of the Skylanders and at least one figure that work on every type of figure. I have all the Lego Dimensions packs, and then the console version of the game, both 360 and 1. And I have, my only, I think, series completion is Disney Infinity, and I still have all of that in the game.
Nice. I only played one of them. I think it was Disney Infinity 2 or 3.
Yeah, they had the Windows stack for that too. I even did that. So
I finished the game. I still don't really understand how to play it. And now that I think back, I'm not even really sure how I finished the game, actually.
Yeah,
it might have been a walkthrough, and I'm like, what am I even doing here?
And then they had like a little roguelike, I think, in like 2, I think it was. I don't know if they put it in 3, where you had to go down like 100 levels or something with the Marvel characters or whatever.
Oh shit! Right.
whatever it was. There was some, I don't know how many levels it was, but it was just one of those things where there was, a bunch of levels. And if your character died, you couldn't use that character because it was on a timer to before you could put it back on and have it work again. So,
Yep.
The kind of cheating answer is I finished Battlefield Hardline. My DLC was 3 additional Xboxes and 3 additional monitors. And
Yeah,
3
fair. Yep,
copies of
yep.
the game and 3 copies of the DLC.
mm,
So I guess I did buy the DLC 4 times on 4 different accounts.
yeah.
Plus additional Xboxes, additional monitors. I tell you what, the room got real hot. You're running 4 Xboxes, 4 monitors, just running up, I think it's 10,000 kills in 4 different classes or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Hmm.
But then I sold the Xboxes for about what I paid for them, so it didn't really cost me a whole lot. But to actually, get in, buy in, it was a couple $100 for each of the Xboxes. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my technically I bought DLC answer. Don't know if it counts.
Yeah, I think I could see it. I'm just kind of going through my DLC list at the moment. I spent Neverwinter is probably the game I've spent the most money on, shamefully.
Yeah.
The game is free to play, but I bought VIP for actually I literally just uninstalled it last week because my VIP finally ran out, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stop renewing it. It's just not worth it anymore. I just don't play it enough.
So VIP, is that like a WoW sub?
Similar, yeah, where it's like essentially you have the free to play, but if you actually want to play the game really, if you want to have the ability to teleport wherever you want to teleport and all that kind of stuff and all the sort of quality of life features, and you get your daily login key or whatever. I have probably about 2,000 of those keys. I've been playing that game for so long and bought VIP for so many years. I would usually buy it when it was on like Black Friday sale or whatever, but it would still involve buying currency, which I'm hugely ashamed of. But that game's never going to be finished, and I've kind of given up on it over the last year or so.
How close did you end up getting?
I got pretty close before the recent updates came out. I got the base game is done. There was maybe one basically impossible achievement that I don't think I'd ever get.
Okay.
And then it was actually I'll pull up Neverwinter now and can have a look.
I'm going to pull it up as well.
You're 196 out of 208.
Yeah.
So you are actually quite close.
Yeah, so Master of the Undermountain, only 97 people on TA have that achievement. It is actually insane.
Ooh, 192,000 have started it, so that is a very small percentage.
Yeah, and because every update is free. And so I played quite a bit of Avernus, which was the next one. I played a little bit of Sharandar and then Dragonborn, and then you can kind of start seeing. I was like, okay, I played North Dark, and then I started dropping off, and then you can kind of see anywhere I haven't finished the campaign, which is the last 3 expansions. I was kind of like, I'm kind of done with this, because I kind of realized I was never going to get back to that.
You didn't want to, or it was too hard to finish them, or what?
So each of these dungeons, so each of the achievements, like most of the updates nowadays come out with 2 achievements, where it's like for finishing the campaign, which is the kind of you do your weekly things to fill up a bar, and then you come back next week and fill it up again until you get it all the way to the end and you get the achievement. And then the other one is for doing the new dungeon they've put in. But of course, the new dungeons are always harder, so you need to have new gear, which means you need to have played a bunch of other stuff. And so I kind of caught up a little bit. If you look at all the DLC I've done, I kind of caught up and leveled up to a certain amount. I was trying to do that Hellblade trial, but it just didn't get there. And then I got to the Zariel challenge and just got my ass handed to me. And I was like, oh, man, okay. And I started talking to people like, yeah, you need to go do this dungeon and run it like 50, 100 times and hopefully get a good thing. And then I just was like, oh, I'm going to play something else. And then, of course, the next one came out, and then the next one came out, and the next one came out. And I was like, if I actually want to get to the latest dungeon, I need to basically rinse all the ones above it and have something that I can actually, gear up to do it. And it just, the treadmill just became too much to deal with.
Yeah, I see. From Infernal Descent, it goes from 6 achievements to 2, 2. And there's 10 of those that have just been added. So,
that's one of the ones I've made peace with. I'll never finish that game, unfortunately, which is fine. Maybe if they end up, they said they're going to shut it down, maybe I'll put an effort into it. But Not anytime
3
soon.
discontinueds. Okay.
Yeah, they've made a lot of updates to that game.
Yeah, just redundant stuff that doesn't exist anymore.
Pretty
or
much, yeah.
something.
And they just haven't patched it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
The other one that jumps to mind is there's like JRPGs tend to be pretty bad with the DLC stuff. Like if they have DLC, it tends to be very expensive. So I just finished Tales of Arise, and I'll talk a little bit about it and what we've been playing. But the DLC for that was like $30 US, like for a relatively minor DLC pack. I mean, like it took me like 15 hours, but it still was pretty pricey, and it almost never went on sale. Actually, sorry, if I'm looking at it right now, yeah, the game itself is like $40 US. And if you want the deluxe edition, yeah, and they usually sell it in packs, so you need to like if you just want the expansion by itself, it's like $30 on its own, so it's nearly the price of the game. And yeah, I have some thoughts about it, but I don't know. Like I bought a lot of this shit and just kind of what is it? Kingdom Hearts 3 also had that DLC Remind thing they brought out, which was also like stupidly expensive when it came out, and everyone was like, "The fuck is this?" They didn't even think the game was gonna get DLC. I don't know. Most DLC is usually relatively well priced, but I have bought a lot of it over the years going through this list.
Yeah, well, I suppose that would count full price every Final Fantasy 14 expansion and subscription.
Yep. Yep.
So if you're counting Neverwinter, then that's right in there, and they're like $70 each. You know, basically a new game every time, because they're full new games. So
yeah, true. I've also spent a lot on Telltale games because they're all DLC.
Yeah, I've spent a lot on Battlefield servers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4.
Yep.
Which you can still get the Battlefield servers for the next couple of weeks on the 360 if you want.
True.
Yeah, I think I finished.
You really want.
I did Battlefield 4 on the 360 and on the One. And Battlefield 3.
Battlefield 4
Battlefield Hardline.
Well, besides Hardline, Battlefield 4 is the one I want to do that has been on the list that kind of need to do. There's probably like a few main things that we need to really kick on with to really knock out like a couple of odd things that require a bunch of people, but yeah. So
I think I bought the Bad Company 2 server as well.
Did that? Oh yeah, you could buy servers now.
It's just it's such easy money for Jam. Hey, do you want to be able to set up your own game? It's $10 for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Or you could get like a whole year's worth for 25, and you're like,
oh, well,
bro, if I'm still going in, or $10 for a week. It's like if I'm still going in longer than a week, this has not been worth my time.
Yeah,
it's not been worth my money.
Yeah. To
be fair, some people do play games to have fun. I haven't met a single person who does that, but they're out there apparently.
They're not in our Discord, are they?
No, fuck no.
Good. That's one of the entry requirements. Do you play games to have fun? Yes, fuck it. Banned.
Exactly. Yeah.
See ya.
Starting new games is fun. I never finish them, but
yeah, value.
There's value in that.
The other one that springs to mind is House Flipper. Their DLC is taking the piss because it never fucking goes on sale, and when it does, it's only like one of the 4 packs.
You've been talking about that for a while, haven't you?
Yeah,
well, the DLC, like I did because I finished it and I actually enjoyed the game for the most part, but the DLC is not nearly worth what they charge for it. Not even close. Oh man, yeah, I really need to clean up my DLC because I have a few in here that I need to remove because I don't actually own them. But anyway, Isaac also asks a bonus question: would you ever buy a special controller or peripheral for a game? I mean, I bought DJ Hero. I bought both of the DJ Hero 1 and 2. And I bought Guitar Hero 2, 3, World Tour, Smash Hits. I've bought a lot of fucking peripherals. I have. Yeah.
I think I've had one of every single type on the 360, including a really expensive Fanatec racing wheel. But we don't talk about that, and not anymore. It's broken, so.
Oh, that sucks.
It's the thing that didn't last because I thrashed it.
Yeah.
So I haven't bought any. I bought Guitar Hero, but nothing else. Well, I would buy a special edition Dead Island controller.
Okay, yeah.
No questions asked. Wouldn't even matter what was on it. I would buy it.
But
Having
you
said
see, the
that,
problem with a Dead Island controller is that you have to spend a lot of money to fix it every 5 minutes while you're playing. It's I don't know. It's probably not worth picking up.
it's funny you say that because my Elite 2 has got a stick drift on the left stick as well. And I'm like, going into the options, I'm like, oh yeah, I can adjust dead zone. It's like you can't make the dead zone bigger. You can just
Yeah.
adjust the way it reacts to
I
pressing the stick. I'm
yeah.
like, oh,
I need to keep an eye on that because yesterday playing Diablo on this thing, that exact same thing happened. I felt I was pushing a certain direction and clicked it, and it didn't click the way I thought it was going to click. And I'm like, I really need to watch that. It's
Yeah.
only 6 months old.
I've got my Halo anniversary, like the 20-year Xbox anniversary green Halo controller.
I love them.
Great. It was fan. I got it from Allison. Great controller, but it's like my daily user. But it's like I have worn it down, and I can already feel this thing where it's like if I put it down, the characters will just start slowly walking forward just a little bit. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Great for stealth sections, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I need to tiptoe anywhere, I'm doing fucking great.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not when I'm trying to do command inputs for a fighting game or something, and it's like, oh, you press the jump button. I was like, I did not press the jump button.
I beg your pardon.
I know a few people have like grabbed like the Steel Battalion thing was a classic one back in the Xbox days and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, peripherals have kind of gone the way of the dodo. I mean, Keo, you kind of talked about the Toys to Life trend as well. That obviously died a death in the sort of last generation.
Died with Starlink on the Xbox One, actually. So,
I saw actually this week, coincidentally, now that we're talking about it, I don't know what game it was for. It was a tank game. And a guy has got like a custom desk. Don't think like high tech, like it's not.
Sure.
But he's got like one of those joysticks where you're like mixing a mixing bowl, and that's how you turn the top of your tank around.
Oh,
you turn it back the other way, and it turns the tank. And then next to him, like the camera's faced like on an angle, like behind him on a 45 to see the screen, and his joggle stick, and he's got the levers and all that. But then next to him, there's his friend who's got like a fake gun, like a tank blaster gun, puts like a foam dart in it, and then it shoots on the screen and it pops out, and they put another one in there, and it's like,
Jesus, mate. At that point, just fucking go to the Ukraine. Like, mate, you've got it down. Like,
I'll see if I can find the clip and post it for you guys later. But it is like, I looked at it going, I had to watch it like 5 or 6 times. Like, what am I even watching right now? I'm like, and then I'm like, what? But why?
Yeah.
I don't get, like, I know the Steel Battalion controller is like crazy, but this guy is the next level. I'll see if I can find it because it's crazy.
Oh, that's great. I think I can't think of any other like peripherals are kind of gone now. You don't really see a lot of them outside of your racing wheels, like Keo was talking about. I think that's kind of the.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my 360 fight stick right here next to me, actually.
Fair.
I had it out some doing stuff. It's the only one thing I have that has a turbo button on it, but I've been jamming a little bit on the 360 fighting games. It's still good. Still good.
All right. Well, we don't have a huge amount of news this week, but I wanted to chuck in the story about First Ascendant, which is a sort of new free-to-play game that came out that people were kind of, it's action RPG, looks kind of interesting. I like the kind of style. They seem to have cribbed a few things from Warframe. But apparently they've had some launch issues. Who would have thought?
It never happens in this day and age.
Yeah, right? For a free-to-play online game. So Nexon, who are the publishers, have basically said that they're going to be providing some compensation. Apparently you get some extra gold, some extra shards, extra XP, extra weapons, master XP, and some paint. Apparently, if you log in before the 7th, so if you're listening to this live, you can apparently get these things, and they expire on the 14th. So if you're thinking about playing the game, apparently now's a pretty good time to do it. I haven't really heard much about it. Some people seem to be enjoying it, but...
Yeah. I do that, but X Defiance had 2 XP weekends, and I didn't do either of them, so...
Fair.
I've heard very little. Like, I've heard the name, and I was like, oh, I think I was interested for this. But now that I'm looking at this dev video in the article, I'm like, why would I want to play this? It looks like Anthem,
Yeah,
kind
they,
of.
they kind of, yeah.
There's been a bit of that.
Which, to be
Yep.
fair, I think if Anthem had a good roadmap and a better launch, it would have been
Would
successful
have been a
enough.
different game at that point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm looking at this
Mhm.
going like,
Yeah, they're saying
what
I've heard
is
a few
this?
people say Anthem cross Outriders.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Outriders.
I mean, like, I'm not opposed to that. Free to play is fine. You know, and the achievement list looks okay. I mean, like, again, like, no one's finished it because it's only come out 3 days ago. But yeah, I don't know. I am looking for a new thing to play. Maybe I'll give it a look in. Maybe not straight away, but yeah.
Do a quick login now. Just get your name
Just
on
get
the
my
list.
things. Exactly.
Look,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a slick white bunny suit, metal bunny suit right there for you. So, so why wouldn't you?
True. This is very true.
Are all the characters ladies?
No,
I don't
I'm
think
flicking through the trailer, it's
officially
fine.
everyone's a lady, but considering the kind of perverts are going to be playing this, I think they're mostly going to be ladies.
Yeah, like I don't think I saw it. I mean, I've only been clicking through. I didn't think I saw any male characters.
Well,
I don't even know what they're
Yeah,
supposed to be.
I saw a little bit of one there.
Oh, okay. I
somewhere,
must have just
so
clicked past it.
I'm trying to find it, but I can't find
they
it.
know their audience.
8 minutes 50 apparently, if that is even,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Oh,
I think that there's definitely a market for sort of a free-to-play third-person shooter. It's nice to see something that isn't just, some clicker or a massive MMO that takes 1,000,000 hours and fleeces you for all your money.
Yeah.
The only time I reckon launch an online multiplayer launch being rocky is acceptable is if they go, wow, we didn't expect that we were going to have this many people playing, which is impossible to predict. Obviously, I mean, you can have a bit of an understanding with games copies sold, but obviously not all those people are going to be online at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that what happened with Outriders? Actually, was that one of the things that happened with Outriders?
I think
there was
Outriders had
few.
some other technical
There was
issues
a
as
few,
well too.
yeah.
And also the game just wasn't very good.
They had that was a problem that they had with Diablo 4, right? People were putting up pictures of 40-minute queues and stuff like that. I mean, Diablo, you probably should know better because it's not your first time at the rodeo. It's not even your second or third time at the rodeo.
Well, actually, that's happened this week with Final Fantasy XIV. The new expansion came out, and if you're in a populated server, like one of the highest populated servers on the consoles, one of the glitches that came up was that if you tried to go from a less populated area to a full area, it would basically sit on a black screen, except for everything's loading like it's trying to load it in the next level, and it's almost like it's in a queue on the between area screen.
Oh.
And it basically just stays there, and the console's frozen at that point. The console's not frozen. You can pull up the Xbox menu, everything. The game is just stuck. It's stuck somehow. They acknowledged it. It's both consoles, whatever it is with the new expansion. So it's like, well, the servers are full, and they basically said just go to a less populated server. So
guys, we're living in the future.
Yeah.
The future is here, and it is great.
Yeah, and they added 2 servers to North America, so this still happened.
Also, apparently, the people aren't hugely happy with the content of the of the expansions as well, which is kind of a double whammy, unfortunately.
I haven't gotten to the point where I can access it yet because I'm an idiot and I don't catch up with these things.
And you're still waiting on the loading screen.
Yes.
Well, actually, I went to the character that I had ready, but it was on the most populated server in America. So you've got your 240 something ping trying to load between screens into a populated area on the most, so it was not happening. So I basically just went back to my Australian character, essentially on the server that has the least amount of people, and I was logging in instantly. So so
I'm not sold on playing it, Kia.
you're not sold yet. Oh yeah, I do tend to say things like that about it, don't I? But
I mean, I have heard good things, mostly from you, so I don't know if I can trust them. But no, I wish I had the time and the money for Final Fantasy XIV. I know I'll literally never get to it, unfortunately. Speaking of things being down, apparently there was a major Xbox Live outage, which I discovered right before I was about to leave on my trip, so I was okay with it. I was like, oh, cool. Logged in to check to see what I was going to like kill 30 minutes. I was like, oh, shit, nothing's working. Check my router, the usual. You do the ritual of like, okay, is it the Xbox? Is my laptop working? Is my phone working?
Hold down the power button for 10 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, okay, what have I? Yeah. Did I pay the bill?
Yeah. Well, I woke up and I took my wife to work, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going home. I'll go out for breakfast. And then 2 hours later, I come back. Well, not 2 hours later. It was like an hour later. It was good coffee though. And I come back an hour later, and it was fine. So,
Yeah, I mean, my wife had been getting the kids up, taking them to daycare because I'd had COVID. So I'm like, oh, I'll just walk into the home theater room. And that's when I wrote in the Discord, is anyone actually able to get on? And I turned the Xbox on, and I had no problems. So it was interesting. A lot of people obviously were talking about it on Twitter. One of them in particular was talking about like the digital authentication for games that you've either bought digitally or on a subscription like Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's saying that there has to be a better way than having to authenticate it every X amount of minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because when stuff like this happens, you literally cannot play anything. I think I've got 3 discs in my drawer. 2 or 3 discs, and I haven't started any of those games. I'm not ready to play them yet, but I'm not even sure if I could have played those during the outage because I saw people talking about even they had to be authenticated, and it's just not really.
I mean, if you're not on your home Xbox, also you're fucked.
Yeah,
because it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't connect online.
Isn't it still like if you authorize it, you've got like 24 hours offline or something with it, and then you have to authorize it again?
Offline mode, yeah, you can do, yeah. But I think you need to do that while you're online in the first place. So it's like you need to predict the outage.
Yeah.
Right.
Basham in the chat says Xbox Live outage almost cost them their daily streak. Got it with 10 minutes to spare. Yeah, Shane Firehawk, our other host, was kind of talking about that as well. Very lucky that he kind of got it done before the outage happened because if you're on a daily streak and they're down for a couple of days, you're shit out of luck.
Wasn't Firehawk saying he got it on Xbox 360?
Yes. Yeah.
Funnily enough, like Xbox One, Xbox Series all down. 360 and no dramas, mate.
Yeah, of course.
Peer to peer, right?
Almost 20-year-old hardware. Yeah, no problem, mate. Good.
They got one server running and it runs real well. They just it's easy to maintain.
If something breaks, they know which one it is.
Exactly. They know exactly where to go. I mean, to be fair, this looked like a wider issue as well in general. Like a lot of Microsoft stuff was down. It looked like it might be related to an Azure outage just in general. Because I saw there was a lot of people on Down Detector posting screenshots and that kind of stuff on Reddit around like, hey, the internet fucking exploded for a couple hours there for some reason.
It was all over. Yeah. I was seeing some updated tweets on, what was it, like Tim's something, one of the sites that basically update all of that stuff, like just doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I think it really sucks, like, as someone who doesn't have a lot of time, although this week I have, but if I was to come home, get up early, get my kids to daycare and kinder or whatever, go to work, been out of the house, get them, get them bathed, get them fed, get them in bed, and it's like, mate, it's been a 12-hour day, and then you sit down and Xbox is down. You're like, fuck, like.
I got a little bit excited. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll turn the PlayStation on. It's fine. It's fine.
I was going to say, mate, that sounds pretty dire to me. That's
I'm not going down that route.
Yeah, no. It's like, I'm all out of beers, so I'm gonna have to just basically snort whatever I find in the gutter.
Total fair analogy.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. But yeah, we're all back into it, thankfully. It's all seemed to be fine since I got back. So
yeah, once I logged on, there was no dramas, and there's been none since. So
hopefully it stays that way. We also had Capcom Next earlier this week. Keo, you sort of caught this. Do you want to run through it?
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot. It was really, really straightforward. They basically just went in and showed a couple of things with Kunitsugami,
Mm-hmm.
like upgrading the villages and all that kind of stuff. So they kind of just had a couple of little reels, and they really just wanted to show off uh, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster by the looks of it, because that took up the bulk of it essentially. So it was basically, coming out September 19, they had stuff like 9 languages supported, which is really good. More people can enjoy the game. 14 text-based, uh 14 of those, so more languages in text as well. Improved quality as much as possible, but they wanted to leave like the animations janky to keep the comical style of the game, stuff like that. I mean, it looks really good, and if you don't like clowns, don't watch this trailer
Yeah.
because the clown that's in this trailer is pretty fucked. So, like,
Adam
not
makes an
gonna
appearance
lie.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, so and it looks really good actually. This, they've done a really good job of updating it, stuff like that. They banged on about Resident Evil 7 coming to mobile, which, fair. They're doing that on iPhone. It's not coming to anywhere else that way. But and then they also just said at the end, look, we know everyone's kind of waiting for a new Resident Evil to announce, and we are working on it basically. So yeah. So and they just, look forward to it soon. So it was really, really, really simple. They showed off a bit of a Street Fighter, the collection that's coming out
Mm-hmm.
across Capcom, but that's not an Xbox thing either. But yeah, so
They
yeah,
also put out some updates for Dragon's Dogma 2, I think, like small stuff, not like I think
little
mostly
stuff.
stability stuff. And,
Yeah, yeah, I missed a lot of that at the beginning because I kind of popped on right when the Dead Rising stuff started. And then I went back just before and had a quick look, and yeah, everything was. I think some of that was pre-show,
Yes, yeah,
so because they had like 30 minutes or something countdown timer. And so the show kind of went for about the same time or less than the countdown timer. So
interesting that they have an event. I guess they really just wanted to talk about Dead Rising. It's kind of, I guess,
yeah,
all right.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's coming out pretty soon, though, right? In the next couple of months, I think it's
Also, yeah, it's September 19th.
September 19th. Okay, yeah. So
Mhm.
that's
Mm.
It's
uh,
the third version of it, isn't it? 360, Xbox
Yeah,
One,
they
and
did
now
the,
another
was it
one?
just upscaling or
it was
something
just
they did for the
ported,
one?
basically. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they didn't do anything to the game. It was basically just ported.
And well, that was the first time that the first one ended up on PlayStation platforms too.
That's true.
So,
Yes, yes, correct.
so because it was an Xbox only.
Oh, really?
360
Mm.
exclusive back in the day. Yeah.
Hmm?
I did not know
Um,
that.
I don't know. Do you guys have any history with Dead Rising franchise? What are you thinking?
Yeah, huge for history, really. Myself, I've played the second game. It's one of those other games like that I've just played over and over again,
Mm.
really, with different people. 360 versions and the Xbox One, and I've done both the games for Windows games. So, and I've done every version. Well, they're not 100%, but all of the multiplayer stuff and anything that was online related. So, and Terror's Reality is a pain in
Terror
the
is
ass,
Reality
but
17.
but it was
Yeah, I
fun.
remember.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
I played the first one,
Mm.
and I kept getting killed by the Jeep outside.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm like, how do I fucking kill this prick?
Mm.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to play this game.
Fair.
I'm done.
Mm.
One of them went on Games with Gold back in the day. Was that Off the Record?
I think so. Yeah.
I played that.
Mm.
It was actually
I
quite
think
fun.
2 actually has as well. If not, that's the one.
I'm
yeah.
so glad that I stopped playing Dead Rising 1 before I got too far into it, because, man, some of those achievements are
Yeah.
Mm.
not your friend.
Ooh,
for
Seven
sure.
Day Survivor is the opposite. Of fun.
Very situational, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Doing Frank the Pimp and having 8 female survivors with you, and they're all fucking brain dead. Just like, yeah, it's. Oof.
Apparently, they fixed some of that.
Yeah,
So,
I am. That's what I'm most curious about. And we kind of talked a little bit about this with Shane last week. Was how much of the harsh like this seems like a kind of an interesting mix between like a. It's not just an upscale because they've obviously added a little bit to it, but they, like you said, they haven't changed a huge amount. So it's kind of between a full remake and like a sort of
Yeah.
remaster.
they kept it. there was no indication because they said that they really did some stuff with real-time lighting and stuff like that, but they didn't say. They said each section has its own flair, but they didn't say if they opened up each section so you just kind of wander through, or if it is still loading screen between sections. We don't know that. So, as far as I can tell. So, so if they have opened it up and you can just go anywhere, that would be amazing. That would be so much better if they've just opened up the world.
We've got super fast hard drives now on both consoles, right?
True.
So maybe,
Mhm.
maybe.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. I mean, I'm probably going to pick this up day one. I mean, I want to see the achievement list first, but I am a huge fan of the Dead Rising series. I think the only one I haven't finished is 2, the port of 2 on the Xbox One, just because yeah, you're right, Terror's reality is annoying. But yeah, love the series. Hoping that we get a new one in the near future. Would be great to get a Dead Rising 5. We just pretend that 4 didn't happen.
Yeah. And we definitely pretend that 4 didn't happen on the Windows stack because that is
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah, very true.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all there is for news. It's very, very quiet at the moment in terms of, the goings-ons. We're kind of in both a news and release kind of slow period. And we were also talking last week around how it doesn't seem like there was a lot coming to Game Pass. It felt like we had a lot of announcements for stuff for the end of the month, but nothing kind of in the first half, which changed quite quickly as we finally got our announcement of what's joining and what's leaving. So July 3rd, which has just passed, we have a Journey to the Savage Planet is being added. I believe they're added both versions of the game, so the original and the new sort of remastered one with the DLC bundled in with a different achievement list.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that it was both myself, but this is also on Windows as well.
Yep, there's a stack for it as well, which is great. Yeah, it's Employee of the Month, I think, is the Employee of the Month edition. So you can play it a bunch of times now if you really want to. Really enjoyed that game. Definitely recommend it. I'm actually might think about doing a co-op run with someone because it is a lot of fun playing with 2 people.
Yeah, I already saw in the comments the first thing was like, "Can I get a carry, please?"
Yeah.
So,
Classic TA comments.
Yeah, exactly, right? Game literally just launches and they're like, "Hey, can someone carry me through this whole fucking thing? I don't want to play this game."
Or anytime a Minecraft update comes out, the world's updated. Like the update came out 1 minute ago. It'll be updated, mate. Don't worry.
We're working really closely with the devs to get our world updated with them.
I did those new Minecraft updates a couple of days after they came out. They are fast on those worlds. They're very, very fast. So
God, I haven't played Minecraft in a long time. Maybe I should pick it up.
Don't.
No, I'm not. I did the original before they moved. They did the migration and did the old versions, and I was like, I'm good there.
Yeah. When they retired the Xbox 360 version and the Xbox One version, the first one.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, 2 less that I have to do. Now there's only 3 that I do on an ongoing basis.
The only one I've finished is the games in the Windows Phone. I did that.
Of course. Right, yeah. Which they're definitely not doing any more of.
Which the world's carried over to, by the way. So.
Oh, right. Maybe I should have done those. No, never mind. We also had a Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl 2 join Game Pass, which is a really good addition if you're into your sort of platform fighters like Smash Bros. Apparently this one is actually, like the first one people liked quite a bit. This one apparently is even better. They kind of got apparently a little bit more of a budget for it. Don't know what the list looks. The list looks a little rough, but it's your standard kind of side-scrolling jump on a platform.
An arcade run without losing a single stock.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh. We also, in July 9th, we've got Cricket 24 coming out for everyone's favourite sport about wickets.
How many sports are there about wickets?
There's just the one, so it wins by default. It's So
it's also everyone's least favourite sport.
It's fine. It is my least favourite. I'll tell you right now. It is definitely my least
favorite. Someone who plays cricket, I can tell you what. There are a lot of days where cricket is my least favourite sport. Yeah, I made 3 ducks in a row this past season.
You're probably going to have to explain that.
I went out on the first ball without scoring a run. It's called a duck, I believe, because a 0 is like a duck egg. One of them was what's called a diamond duck, which you go out to play. You're not the one facing the bowler, and you get run out without having faced the ball.
That sucks. That sucks
Yes,
a lot.
you know what sucks even more? My teammate was there's like, hey, we've got 50 overs left, which is 50 times 6 balls per over.
Yeah.
Plus any wides or no balls are rebowled. So there's a lot of balls left in the day. And he goes, hey, we've got a lot of time. We'll bat all day and there's no pressure to make runs. I think it was the 4th ball. He hit one and I took off and I was like, yes. And he was like, no. And I slipped over.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to get back. And you know what? The best part of this is the season I decided to start filming my games and editing them for YouTube. So
Beautiful.
Well, as long as you're editing them, you can edit that bit out.
I could edit my diamond duck out, but people be like, hey, why did the camera stop working when
there's
you
a
were
glitch.
batting? Technical difficulties may put the the splash screen up.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, look, now we're all out. How did that happen? Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I'll put it up and like people can watch it. 3 ducks in a row. Yeah, it was not the best
brutal.
season. Yeah.
The other game that's coming July 9th is The Case of the Golden Idol, which I am incredibly excited for. I have been wanting.
Not heard of this game.
So I've been wanting to play this game for years. It was a real like indie darling. Got a lot of nods at Game of the Year time. If you've played The Return of the Obra Dinn, very similar kind of idea. So Return of the Obra Dinn was about you being there's a ship that shows up with all of its crew missing, and you're an insurance person who basically has to go and try and figure out like what the fuck happened to it. And so you have like a book of people, and you go around looking and you see like you find objects and find like pictures and flashbacks, and you kind of have to be like, okay, this person is this, or this clue tells me about this, or their conversation means that they're probably this, or they're wearing this, so they're probably this person. So you kind of go through the logbook of who was on the ship, trying to figure out who was who and how they died.
Oh, okay. They are ghosts. Okay.
So yeah, so basically some horrible shit happened on this ship and you kind of figure it out. So this is a sort of similar vein where you are in a scenario, like a sort of static scenario. You kind of have an idea of like, you get like a snapshot of what happened in this scenario, and you kind of have to piece it together of like, okay, this person was feeling this because of this, or this happened because this happened, and you kind of, it's like a logic puzzle of trying to met out how the thing worked. Real kind of like notes and clever stuff and like lots of aha stuff. Very, very cool kind of game. Been wanting to play it for years, so very, very excited for that. It's coming to cloud, console, and PC, so definitely jump on it.
Oh, they're doing a Bubsy collection? It's not a Game Pass related news, but
Oh no.
it's on the Xbox list.
I'll put it right next to Alex the Kid.
Yeah, you go, right? It's
Games I always wanted to play.
Yeah,
back in
well,
the day,
actually,
but never could.
they released the first one on PS4, but it was like a remaster.
Hey, finally, a reason to buy a PS4. Finally.
No. Hang on. Hold your horses. Dina, it's one of Dina's favorite games, my wife. And we turned it on for, and she's like, "This isn't my Bubsy." they completely updated it, and it was not. It was not the same game.
I used to watch that on. Was it Amazing, that TV show? Amazing, that they would play Bubsy and Mario Kart, and then I don't know. Might not have made it to New Zealand.
Don't think so.
Yeah, and I grew up in a Queensland country town that had one channel, so.
Oh, okay.
So I got Cheese TV. That was enough.
Cheese TV, yeah.
The original Cheese TV.
So you've covered the basics, like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and Street
I've never seen Dragon Ball Z. It was even before that.
Matt, get rid of him. No,
yeah,
I know. That's a cancelable offense.
I think Lights Kyo Action is actually going to be an anime focused show, and maybe we'll do that spin off.
Okay, that'll take forever.
Yes, well, if we watch Dragon Ball Z, fuck me,
right.
we're going to be there
We're
for a while.
starting with One Piece.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I was like, all right, we're going to do the big three, so get ready for your dose of Naruto, One Piece, and Dragon Ball Z. Jesus Christ. July 11th, we've got Neon White, which again, another big Game of the Year contender for 2022. Yes. People love the fucking game. Looks really, really good. I imagine it's going to be quite challenging. It's got like
you're saying that in the Discord, right? You really want to play it, but you're not sure you're going to be good enough to finish it.
Yeah, that
made me think. What I know I want to play this game, and I can't remember why. It's like, what is it?
It's like Mirror's Edge style, but like very heavily cell shaded, with like a really good like style of music to it. Short levels, very like time attack heavy,
I can't
but
remember.
also has like relationship dynamic stuff for like the characters you meet and stuff, which people like quite a bit. So I
So
don't know.
it's not a multiplayer game, that one.
No, it's like
No.
leaderboards kind of thing. I think is more
Okay,
kind of what
right,
I'd
right,
say.
right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it was, if it's anything like X Defiant, you need to jump on that in like the first week.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of really good reviews when it came out elsewhere, so I'm sure that it'll do quite well. There's another game, Chia, I think it's called Chia with the T at the start. Apparently got some good reviews as well. I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna probably check that out on July 11th. And then July 16th, we've got Magical Delicacy and Flock, which both look like fun games. Yeah, so a decent amount of stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes open.
What if Case of the Golden Isle is one of those games that comes out on PC and doesn't have achievements? Do you still play it?
Well, it's coming to console, so I'm hoping that I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah, console as well.
Yeah, like if it was PC, like even if it was without achievements, I might give it a go because I don't think it's a hugely long experience.
Oh,
either.
is that why I can't find it? Is it the Rise of the Golden Idol?
No, Case of the Golden Isle.
Okay, there's another one that says unreleased, Rise of the
I think
Golden
that's
Idol. I
the
was
sequel
wondering-
that they're working on currently.
Oh, right. Okay, so
Yeah,
Sounds very Indiana Jones.
very much that kind of that kind of era. And then leaving, we got announced that Coffee Talk 2 is leaving. Toem, The Wandering Village, Figment 2, Sins of a Solar Empire on Windows, and Cricket has just left. Cricket 22 has just left Game Pass today, I believe.
yeah.
There's quite a bit on there that's worth playing. Coffee Talk 2 is fan-fucking-tastic, especially if you enjoyed the first one. It's more of the same.
Yes. Great game. It's not like, you don't have to beat anyone. No pressure, no multiplayer. Just go in, have a good time.
Make some fucking coffee. Yeah.
Make some.
Yeah, well, I can talk about what I've been playing this week.
Yeah, great.
So what I was already playing before they announced this, basically. So
Excellent. Well, we will cut to you right after this then. Toem, I will highly recommend. It is a really chill, sort of walk around adventure game, kind of solve basic puzzles, do little mini quests for people, take photos of things. If you do a guide, you'll smash it out in like 3 or 4 hours. If not, it'll take a little bit longer. It's all in black and white, which is really cool. I loved it. It was great. It was one of those ones that I picked up like straight away as soon as it was on Game Pass and just kind of had like a nice chill weekend and just played through it. It's very cute. Like it's got a nice kind of, it's a very nice aesthetic to it.
Yeah, the estimate's 6 to 8. You played it for 4 minutes and 4 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only needed a guide for like a couple of quests that kind of had to scratch my head, but the majority of it was pretty self-explanatory. And Figment 2 is also very straightforward. Figment 1 is also on Game Pass, so if you want to play both of them, it's a very basic isometric Diablo-style game with some very easy puzzles, all about being in the mind of someone and switching between emotional states and that kind of stuff. It's kind of fun.
Okay.
Also, the bosses are like musical numbers and stuff. It's an interesting concept. The execution is a bit kind of not. It's okay. Like it won't take you long to play. The achievement list is very straightforward.
Yeah. Okay, so Figment 1 isn't leaving Game Pass. Only Figment 2.
So they added Figment 2 first, and then no one bought Figment 1, and they added that. They added Figment 1 a few months back.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter which one you play then.
No, I
or
mean
Figment 2 is better, or
I think Figment 2 is probably maybe a slightly better game. They kind of tightened it up a little bit, but a lot of collectible stuff. So maybe have a guide for that, but otherwise you'll be fine.
Yeah, so it's one of those cases where it's like, oh, I never played the first one. I'll check out the second game, and then I'll go back and I really enjoyed this. I'll go back to the first game. And it's like, oh,
yeah, I think it was a case of like the second one joined Game Pass, and they were like, yeah, maybe people will go buy the first, and everyone was like, why isn't the first on Game Pass? I'm not going to play the second until the first one's on there. So they just put both of them on there. And Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion would be a ridiculous completion if you wanted to try and do it now. But good luck, if you got a spare couple of 500 hours or whatever.
If you're going to do that, you might as well start Neverwinter.
Yeah, exactly. I was considering doing Wandering Village, but I don't know. I didn't really hear much about it after it came out. I know Cameron was kind of interested in it when it was first released about a year ago, but kind of.
He's interested in everything that comes out.
He's true. It's true. He loves his indie games.
He loves playing all the games.
Yeah. So Wandering Village is the only one really that I might try, but I probably will just give it a miss. All right. Well, let's get into what we've been playing. Kia, we'll start with you. You've been playing Coffee Talk.
Yes. So I started a week or so ago, just kind of poking through. It's kind of like my go to bed, chill out, make some coffee while I'm, you're thinking about coffee while I'm trying to go to sleep, right? So I'm just lying there, just making coffee and chilling out and stuff. And then as soon as they kind of announced this, I finished off like the last day of the first one and then moved on to the second one. So I'm currently doing that at the moment. So just poking through a little bit of a night. I'm like, I'm not following a guide. I don't know if I need to follow a guide. I don't know if I can go back to do it or if I need to. There's no reason to play the game again, is there? Or do you have
go
to
back and
you
replay
can.
chapters?
Yeah.
It changes.
Yeah.
There are some missable achievements. Along
Yeah,
the
I
way.
only missed 4 sequences in that first game. And I'd only looked up a couple because I'm like, how the fuck do I play this? How do I make a coffee? The only problems I have with the game is that between loading screens, they kind of show you what the coffee is, and from the pictures, you can kind of see the different coffees. That shows you like Marrakesh or something, and then shows you the picture and the ingredients between the days, and you can kind of get an idea of what that is. But if you forget what that is, and because it won't even be for that next day or something, right? It'll be for like 2 or 3 days later. You have to recall whatever this coffee is, or you don't hear of it at all. You have to make up. They just want something new or whatever, and they don't tell you what to make.
Yeah.
Then you don't know what combinations you can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, the game's great. Like I've said it before, like it's just one of those things where if you just want a game where you can just like wish you had somebody to talk to. If you want somebody to talk to and you don't have somebody to talk to, play Coffee Talk because you'll feel like you're best friends with the people behind the bar.
It is a really nice, like people talk about like
is.
cozy games in terms of like, things like
It
Stardew
is,
Valley and stuff. But I think
see.
this is maybe like the epitome of like, it's a late night coffee bar with just all kinds of really interesting people and regulars and kind of just, it's bartending without the drunken brawls. And I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's nice. So
as I was thinking about it, as you were mentioning it in the Game Pass levers, I think this game, I mean, I may be looking back through, rose-colored glasses on it, but it handles a lot of current themes like trans and racism and that kind of stuff. And I guess I didn't really think about it at the time, like the rights of certain species, and they're not allowed to have rights until, they're fighting for their rights and that kind of stuff. And then you're talking about, I think one of the characters is gender fluid, if I'm remembering correctly, but it's just I like that there are themes in the game, but they're not ramming it down my throat. It's just, hey, these are people that come into the coffee shop and this happens to be a thing that is about them, and they don't spend 10 scenes talking about it. They just go, hey, this is a thing that happened today. What happened with your day? It just it introduces themes in a way that I think even the most racist or bigoted people could still enjoy them.
Yeah, and it's really only the last couple of puzzles in that first game where it's like you have to remember how to do something or what somebody liked or something to solve a puzzle, and then that's it. That's it. Yeah. So in the second game, it was funny what they do at this, as I said, with the loading screens, they've got the coffee that they show off, and they're like, "This is this coffee, whatever." They have newspapers at the start of every day, and the first newspaper in the second game was that meme. It was like an orc or something. That was like they had it was like the boyfriend and the girlfriend, and the boyfriend's looking over his shoulder, like a robot.
The distracted boyfriend. Yeah.
So that was great. I'm like, oh, because it was beautifully rendered in there, like the species or whatever that they have in the game was fun. So they're really throwing to the common themes.
I do love that I think like Alex said, it provides a really nice snapshot into a world that is similar to ours, but has fantasy creatures and kind of stuff, but also similar issues. of like what would happen if you like had someone who was a vampire. It's like what would their life be like if they lived in modern day Seattle? What kind of shit would they have to deal with? What would their life be like? What would their relationships be like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love both those games all the way through. They're absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and really to the jobs that the characters have as well, and they
Yeah.
talk about their day and stuff like that, So, um, yeah, so that's probably it for Coffee Talk 1 and 2. I don't really have anything else to say. I'll keep going with 2 and seeing how I finish it off.
Sure.
I'll definitely get that finished, and then I'll go back and do the last few achievements in the first game. After that, so.
I can go through my list pretty quickly and I'll leave it to you guys. But I finished
Yeah.
up Rolling Hills, Make Sushi, Make Friend. It it was very cute. I enjoyed playing through it. I'm all kind of done with it though. It was just kind of go around town, make friends with people. But I think Kirby described it as baby's first Overcooked, and it was very much that, where it's like things go on a conveyor belt, you give it to people. Doesn't really matter if it's not like the level that they want, as long as it's the right type of food, you're usually okay. You don't really get penalized for anything. It's a very chill game. Make sure you spec and if you're going to be buying furniture, just buy charming furniture because the leveling takes longer than anything else. You'll be done with everything else in the game before then, for the most part. But yeah, it was a nice kind of 12 to 15 hour experience that I just kind of cruised through and just had a nice time. As I kind of
or single player,
single player, you just kind of like you're just a sushi making robot. There's not really a lot to it.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a couple of good jokes in there, but otherwise it's pretty basic. I wonder if they'll do any more with it, but it sounds like it's a nice little it would kind of mobile gamey a little bit, but whatever. As I kind of mentioned earlier, I just finished the Tales of Arise DLC, so I finished the base game sort of last week and was struggling to kind of find the motivation to go back to the DLC. DLC is kind of an epilogue story of like what happens after all the changes to the world after the final boss stuff, standard JRPG stuff. It's very padded, unfortunately. So what they kind of did is they're like, okay, we're going to add a couple of new dungeons, like three or four new dungeons to the game, and level up all the enemies. And you're going to start at level like 65 instead of level 1.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, we're going to take most of your skills away and your equipment away, but you'll get them all pretty quickly. And then we're just going to throw 40 different side quests at you, so you kind of have to run around and just talk to people and stuff. Like, it's very, very padded. Like, this is like a 5 to 6 hour experience stretched out to like 15, unfortunately. So like, it really doesn't. And like, I like the characters, I like the interactions between them, but it does fall into the JRPG stuff of like the power of friendship overcomes all, and it's just kind of, I was not really gelling with the new story and the new epilogue stuff because it feels like a filler arc in an anime or like a like when they do like a Dragon Ball Z movie or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, here's some cool stuff maybe that we kind of just were like, hey, here's something cool that happens that we're never going to refer to again because it's not really canon or whatever, and kind of at the end of it nothing's really changed. And that's kind of where it's at, where I was like, okay, sure, this thing happened, and then literally at the end of it they were like, oh, it's really glad that no one will remember this thing happened, and and I was like, really? Like this?
They knew it sucked.
Yeah, it was not great. It was also, like I said, very expensive, and I just kind of didn't really enjoy it that much. I could have really done without it. But whatever. It was the nice thing is that it still has the save transfer thing. So if you're playing it on the Xbox One version, you could transfer your save over to the Series X, and as long as you do that before you earn each achievement, you can kind of finish both lists. So I did both of them. So I put my total at about like 70 hours for the entire thing. But I'm super fucking done with that right now. I thought it was a pretty, like, I think it was a solidly made game, but it really did not grab me like I was hoping it was going to be, because I heard a lot of good stuff about the game. But yeah, it's been a while since I played Tales of Vesperia, but I think it just really doesn't match up, unfortunately. And then the last thing, I have been chronicling my journey back to Forza Horizon 5 Eliminator on Discord, because I figured, like I said last week, I'm still looking for something new to play, and until then I have to just bash my head against this. I checked my stats. I have played 130 matches of the Eliminator. I have still yet to win a single one. I'm going to keep chipping away at it. I am getting better at it, to be fair. I've been placing higher and higher and more consistently, and the aggressive playstyle seems to be the way to go. Because I realize if you get to the final race with a level 5 cast, someone's going to have a level 10 and beat you no matter what. So you might as well, if you're going to lose, you might as well do it early and just give it a go and just try and take out your competition. So I am, whenever my soul can deal with it, I have been putting some hours into that, trying to do it.
130, far out. How long does each match average?
I mean, a match can be 15 to 20 minutes, or it could be 2 minutes, depending on how rough it is. Yeah, I fucking hate it. It's one of the worst things I've ever played. And I know that when I get that achievement, I will feel no joy. I will only feel relief.
I've felt that before.
It's fucking something. But yeah, that's like, I have not had, again, I've been traveling and we're kind of doing this. We recorded last episode on Sunday and we're doing this one on Friday, so I haven't had much time to play. But
I'd love to know how many you do between now and next week.
I will check in. I will check in with how many I've done. I think 130 is pretty much where I stopped. 129, 130. So we'll see what the number is next week.
Didn't Jake start Forza Horizon 5 as well?
He did start it, yes, because he didn't, because he's tired of doing the Eliminator in 4. So,
And the crew 2 apparently was having server, like some issue where you couldn't log in.
Yeah.
Or something.
Thanks to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I'm probably also going to maybe go back again. But speaking of 360 games, I might go back and do some more Hot Pursuit, just because I really want to just put salt.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Great game. I'm fucking terrible at it though.
That's the one with all the gold medals in it.
Yep, gold medals and distinctions. Yep, and that's the
also known
point.
as the only achievements I don't have in that game. I am finished with that game now. It is,
and
I've done all I'm gonna do.
It's probably the only Need for Speed game that I've actually 100% outside of the 2005 Most Wanted.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I actually have all of the online achievements for everything else. Like I got them banged out before any of the games were delisted or whatever. But yeah, Hot Pursuit, I actually really loved it.
It's a great game. It is a great fucking game. It is just too hard, unfortunately. That's where I'm.
I agree.
Yeah,
it is a very enjoyable game.
The run
you
is
start trying those medals.
The run is something that you probably should never ever look at. So because it is worse actually. So I think so.
I mean, I did Shift and all that sort of stuff. Like, this is like one of the last driving games that I have left is like this Forza Horizon 5 for one achievement. And I think I've got like Mantis Burn Racing or whatever. Like, again, like not like a real racing game. Like very arcadey stuff. But yeah, that's me for this week. I'm hoping to, again, if you guys have suggestions of like Game Pass stuff to jump on or interesting things to play, feel free to shout them out. I am open to inquiries.
I've got a bunch more, but I'll let Alex go.
Yeah, Alex,
get
what
some
do
of
you
his
got?
out of the way.
I've just picked a little selection over the last few weeks of things that I've played. I played the Little Gator game, so I've had a lot of time to game this week. So I've just been looking at those kind of 3 to 5 to 6 hour type games. Little Gator game was by Playtonic, which I think they made or published Ukulele.
They did, yep. It was Playtonic and Friends or something, so I don't know if they have some kind of publishing deal or,
So it was a pretty cool little bite-sized collectathon type game. It's like, you got to smash up everything on the island.
Yeah.
So the story is, you're trying to get your sister to come and play with you, but she's gone off to university and she's got a group project, and none of her friends are helping her on a group project. It's very good humor. I like the humor in the game. So it's like, let's make the game that we're playing so irresistible that big sister, cannot decline to come and play with us.
Yeah.
So they do that in the test island, the first island, and it's not enough. So they go, let's go to the big island, let's make it bigger and more irresistible, and then big sister will have to come and play with us. And just the humor in the game, it was like, one of these groups they're really cool. They're all standing there like with their arms and like, yeah, we're just standing here. We've turned the water off in the water park and we're just standing here because we're cool. And one of the characters just quacks.
Yep.
Doesn't say anything because like, just quacks. And then you try and go up to him later on in the game. You're like, hey, I heard you talking. Do you talk? He's like, nah, quack. Like, I just heard you. Turns out he didn't want to say anything because his last friend group, he said something dumb in front of him and they didn't want to be friends with him anymore. So he's like, I'll just quack in my next friend group. Stuff like that.
Great.
The humor. It's very funny. It's very good humor. Like, you put on the Naruto
The headband.
Like you can
Yeah,
wear all
the
these
run.
hats, and he's doing the Naruto on the run, runs behind. Like it's just great. I think it took me about 3 or 4 hours. Very enjoyable. Loved it. I also played Open Roads, which is pretty straightforward. Interesting story. I mean, you could probably see it coming a mile away if you've ever played any type of narrative game before, but it is on Game Pass. It was, I think, about 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, enjoyable little romp there. I played the Bolt Gun DLC.
So did you the because there were 2 DLCs, right? There was like the title update with the Horde mode, and then like the new.
Oh yeah, they were released at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and it turns out Horde was a title update, and there was an actual Horde based. Wait, the Horde was
the title update.
Yeah,
You
and
had
there
to
was an
buy
extra
the other
campaign.
one.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like $8 with the Game Pass discount for the extra campaign. I think it's like 5 levels long, so it's not long.
It's like another chapter, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's even shorter than the chapters. I thought they had 8 levels in them or 7.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
So I think it's even less. But it's got the classic, find all the secrets in there again. Someone's published a guide. That's what I was waiting for to start it. The Horde mode's fine. You just turn on invulnerability. Man, I couldn't fucking figure out how to start
the wave
Horde mode.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm walking around and like I walk near a rubbish bin and one of those little goblins jumps out at me. I'm like, oh, all right, let's go. I shoot one of them and I'm like, where is everyone?
Yep. That's the same problem.
How do I start? I actually have to look it up online. I'm like, how do I start this? So then I just stay, like, you have to go up onto the bridge and pick up a weapon, and that starts.
It's very unintuitive, yeah.
It's not even like signposted to tell you, like, go here. It's nothing.
So you start with weapons, but you have to go pick up a weapon?
Well, I start with a weapon because you have the
cheat.
Yeah.
Have all weapons cheat on. I don't know what you start with if you don't have that cheat on. Maybe you don't start.
That's probably the clue.
Sure.
It's like, oh fuck, I haven't got a gun. I should probably look for one of those.
Oh, there's a gun up there. I went all the way up to the top, and
I did
like,
exactly the same
where
thing.
the hell am I going? So yeah, I just stayed on that bridge for the entirety of the Horde mode. There's a lot of enemies in those later waves. It takes forever to get through them.
Gravity gun all the way though. That thing fucking just never.
The green one with the melty beam.
Yeah, you just never need to reload
that
it. Just hold it down.
I wish I'd done that in Horde mode because I was using the melter gun.
The melter gun is also fantastic.
It's good. But yeah, great, mate. I use that in the campaign. So much better. So much better. But yeah, it was pretty unintrusive for the DLC. I mean, $8 to play it for an hour. I've paid more for less. But yeah, pretty fun. Hopefully they stop because I don't want to keep playing it.
It's a fine game, but it's not that fine.
It's fine, yeah. But I mean, after playing it for that long, like I'm like, yeah, you're starting to wear out your welcome, and now you want me to pay to wear it out further.
Yeah.
Botany Manor. Have you guys played Botany Manor?
I loved Botany Manor. I did both versions of it. It's so good.
It is great. I said this to my wife. I'm like, I'm just going to go and grow some flowers, and she was like, what? And she came and actually watched me grow the flowers for a bit. So you're like a botanist in the early 1900s, trying to get your research on plants published, I think, in a notable journal. So you're doing all this research on all these plants, writing it in your book and, flicking through the pages and all this stuff. And when you finish the game, you send it off to, the scientific people and see if you can get it published in the journal. But it's just another one of those cozy games, just wandering around, picking up clues, walking around, seeing what's going on, getting notes from your sister, getting notes from the gardener and all this stuff. It took like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
I've downloaded the stack on the PC, so I'm going to get stuck into that at some point. Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, I absolutely love that game. I did it like without a guide and just kind of just wandered around and had a nice time. And it was, one of those nice. The puzzles were relatively intuitive, and there wasn't too much like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? And it was good. Yeah,
they are, and they are. If you do want to not use a guide, you could get through most of it. It'll just take you a little bit longer, and it's just as fun, I would think. Only 2 more. I played Close to the Sun, which is also on Game Pass. So I'm just flogging everything on Game Pass at the moment. It's good. it's not, it draws. I read a lot of comparisons drawn to it. It's Bioshock without guns. It's not.
I mean,
thematically, sort of.
Oh, come on, mate! It's a fucking hidden society of scientists that are locked away on a boat above the water instead of below it, run by a crazy madman who's an egotist.
Well, when you say it like that, it does kind of sound.
And also, everyone's gone crazy due to experimentation, and you see ghosts and shit.
There are yeah. What are those things?
I don't fucking know
what those things are. So you're walking around and there's like echoes of these orange fucking ghost things that have happened in that room before, and you're like, never explains to you what they are. You're just supposed to kind of like know.
They're like, oh, it's a quantum echo or some shit or whatever. Yeah, they kind of hand wave it
because it's time. There's time travel in the game and stuff like that. But I enjoyed the story for what it was. I did follow a guide. I can't remember if it was on TA or if it was Welsh Hunter. I think I might have followed a TA walkthrough and then Welsh Hunter when I got stuck on, because there are parts of the TA walkthrough
not great.
Yeah, that's right. I got halfway through and I stopped following it because I'm just like, whoever has written this, it's like they've stopped mid-sentence and started another sentence, and it just I'm like, what are you trying to say? It's my massive gripe with. I'm like you, Matt. I prefer a text walkthrough if it's available, but this one I stopped using it and went to Welsh's guide because I'm like, I cannot use this. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. It's like, I thought at one point the person who wrote it might have had English as their second language, which, I can excuse that, but I'm not sure if that's the case. It's just, it needs editing. And I'm like, not going to go in and go, hey, in paragraph 75 on page 3, you said this. Did you actually mean this? Because this is how you do. No, mate, like proofread it.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
I'm with you. I just use a video guide for the collectibles because eventually I had ran into the same thing where it's like, fuck, I just can't deal with this.
But there are a couple of tricky achievements for. I think there's a speed run. There's a no death. You can plug in a keyboard, use a console command to get to the end of the game, like teleport to the very last room, walk into the teleporter, and you get them all. So I did that first and then played the game.
Yep.
I did die during it, so I would not have got the achievement for doing that. But it's really good, really fun, interesting story. There's a few jump scares as well, which I was like, I walked into, I think it's my sister's apartment, which for some reason you go in there and like you walk in and you're like, what's that? Is that a bloke standing near the window? And you press zoom in and it goes, and you're like, oh, it is a bloke standing there, and he runs off. You're like, oh fuck, okay, fuck, got me, bro. But it is good fun. It is good fun. The last one I played, I finished this I think yesterday, day before. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I rated this on TA a 4 out of 5, which I think you could say is probably both too high and too low.
Yeah,
it's a hard game to say, do I love this game? Fuck yeah, I love this game.
Is it a good game,
though? I don't
though?
love playing it
as
much as I love it. I'm like, what is the fucking story even about? Like, there are some parts of it that are just... Like, I had to go and find the hidden folk twice, and then all of a sudden, when I needed them in the last part, they just happened to be with me. I didn't have to go and find them the third time. They found me. And it's like, what? Why, though? Why? I can understand why I needed to have a chat with them. But I'm like, why didn't I have to go and find... did we have a little chapter cut out there for budget reasons or time reasons? Like, I don't understand.
It does feel like there's something missing there. Like, towards the end of that chapter where you're in the forest and you kind of get lost and the mist stuff. It feels like, and then it kind of just, you're kind of done with it, and then it's the end of the game. You're like, hang on a minute, like, it feels like there's a bit missing here or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's
something about it. Like, the story has potential for sure. It really does. But it's just, I think it needed a little bit longer in the oven.
Which is crazy to think about because that game's been developed for ages.
The other thing I have a problem with is like the first game, right? You're trying to get your husband's soul back, and I think your kid's soul back from hell. So you're going to hell and you're going to fight every motherfucker that's there to get it back. And now in the second game, we're fighting giants.
Yeah.
That were apparently there the whole time.
Or
and I'm not really sure why.
yeah, or were they? Or
Well, I would have spent, I haven't finished the game yet, but I would have spent more time chilling on the rock at the start of the game going, oh, is this still a cutscene? Than I have actually fighting the games in the game so
The
far.
transitions, the cutscene are
yeah.
yeah.
They've gotten
they're
so
like-
good that you're like, oh well, fuck, I'm supposed to be doing something here. Shit.
I went
Yeah,
into the.
yeah.
I think in the second chapter, I went into the ship and everyone was laughing at me, and I'm like, "What are we doing here?" And then I'm like, "This is because it went to a cutscene," and then I'm like, "Okay, when does this cutscene finish?" And it's like, "No, you have to use the stick
Yeah.
to keep shimmying through the ship." I'm like, There was probably 2 or 3 of them. I'm like, "Oh, okay, it stopped being a cutscene now." Like, it's one of those games that's a really great game that just gets in its own way a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The combat, I know you've said, Matt, the combat is a bit meh. It is a bit meh.
I think it's fine, but it's not as tight as I was hoping. Like after all this time, they would have nailed it down a bit better.
I mean, to be fair, it's not the reason you're there.
No, for
It
sure.
could have been. It could have been.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been a main focus of the game. They could have fleshed it out, but they didn't. It was clearly about the story, which is in parts good. But, I mean, it just lets itself down a little bit. But it is visually stunning. I don't know if it's the best looking game that I've ever played, but I can't think of one that I would say that is better.
It nails what it was trying to do in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
but what it was trying to do maybe doesn't fit for a game in a lot of ways, you know?
It was interesting before I played it a couple of weeks back when it came out. I was reading about it on Twitter because I'm like, oh, I want to play this game, and people were retweeting it into my feed and that kind of stuff. All the ponies are like, oh, bro, it's a 2-hour game, and it's like, I played it. I'm like, I actually don't know how you could finish it in 2 hours.
Yeah, not possible.
You know, I think I played it for about 6 or 7. It might have been 5. Can't remember, but. Then someone's like, oh, they had like 117 hours on it. And you're like,
That's pretty funny.
Screen to try and make a point. Like,
That's pretty funny.
Bro. Well, oh no, I've played it like several times. And I'm like, that's like 20 playthroughs.
Yeah.
You haven't played the game 20 times.
It took me 6 hours and 16 minutes apparently. So for context.
Yeah, so don't start the game don't start playing drunk. Otherwise, you'll get lost pretty quickly, and you'll spend 117 hours playing the game.
I'm happy that I played it, but I'm disappointed because I wanted a little bit more. I was hoping, I'm 6 hours 22. I was hoping after Hellblade 1, which I thought was an excellent game, that this was their opportunity to kind of take that, flesh it out a bit more, make it a 10 to 15, maybe 20-hour game, flesh the combat out, flesh the story out. You have a really, really strong base. And I'm not disappointed for having played the game, but I'm disappointed compared to what I guess I hoped I was going to get.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. Like, we had a bit of a discussion last week around, hey, we're halfway through the year. If you had to pick a game of the year list now, what would it kind of be like? And I'm like, this game took a while to come up, and I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, it feels like a really interesting second game, but that it just really did not meet the potential that it really felt like it had, especially in the story. Yeah.
It took a really long time for that, in the teaser trailers where they had Senor with the red makeup on. I'm like, it wasn't, it's not a spoiler, I won't spoil why, but it's not until the ending of the game that face comes up, and you're like, wow, that was the hype piece. Her speaking in whatever Norse language it is. Like, you're going, wow, you see that shit's about to get real. And it's in the ending of the game, and you're like, that in itself is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I wanted to fucking love this game. And I don't dislike it, but I can't say I love it. It took a long time to get here. So I can't say they should have done, made it bigger, longer, better. But the lady that acts for Senua, she's a star.
Yeah, the performances are all great. Like,
absolutely.
There's so much good stuff in there. It just kind of feels like the times when it becomes a video game are kind of the word. Like the puzzles, also, I kind of had some stuff where I was like, I liked a couple of them, and then I was like, oh, we're doing this again. Oh, okay, we're doing this again.
Yeah, those find the icon puzzles.
I was like, sure, like that was a big part of the first game. Do it once and then move on. Like I really felt like there was a lack of variety in the game that for a game this short, you kind of expect them to be like doing like that's your opportunity. It's like, hey, this game's going to be 6 hours. That like hours 2 and 5 should be you should have quite a bit of difference between them in terms of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
To keep it interesting.
This is where I think Indiana Jones is going to shine a little bit. Because where I was saying in the Xbox Game Showcase episode where it seems like there's too much of they're making the scenes about Indy and making the scenes like a movie.
Sure.
Where you're not really seeing the game, but they're just doing these really long, drawn-out scenes in-game like it's the Indy movie. That's basically what Kojima was doing for Metal Gear.
True, in a lot of ways.
And I'm just like, it seems like that they're kind of channeling the, oh, it's a movie, oh, it's a game kind of thing the right way, where this is trying to be something else. Like, Hellblade is trying to be something else. And what is it? A tech showcase for the new tech that's going to be in the game for the next 10 years?
That was kind of my point too, where it was like, this game would have been killer if it came out at the launch of the series and would have been like the launch, like show off the tech demo kind of game. I don't want to say tech demo as like a derisive kind of like, oh, there's no game there, like, because there is. It's a solid experience.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, Alex, of like making it bigger, like one of my things, they talked a lot of one of the lead devs talked about like how a big part of this game is Senua interacting with other human beings and like that being a really interesting thing, because the first game was very like just her, and the kind of shit that was going on. So she didn't really have like points of reference for like what's real, what's happening. And so now she's like meeting characters, but the characters are like, hey, we're going to have a 5-minute conversation and then we're going to be best buds and you're going to go on this journey with me. And we're just going to do like a cut to like all the walking parts of, all the best parts of Lord of the Rings. We're all doing all the walking. It's like, no, we just cut from like bit to bit and you lose all the character stuff in the middle. And it just kind of felt like they didn't spend enough time. Anytime you got to a village, it was about to be fucking raided, or you're about to get into combat, or crazy shit's about to go down. And so you didn't get a feel for like the people in the world and their personalities. Was very like, it felt like they were quite cookie cutter.
Yeah. It was. I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
The thing that I thought of a lot playing this was, if Tango got shut down for a fucking banger, a Ninja Theory at risk here.
So they did just announce that they've got funding for their next title, so they've got at least one more in them, which I think was like Project Maria. I think was the rumor or something. There was some talk going on around, but who knows when that's going to happen, considering how long it took them to put this out. But it doesn't look like it's going to be another Hellblade game. At least it's like looking like something completely different.
It's a shame, because Senua is an extremely interesting character and a badass to boot, man. Like it is fun. Like the idea of walking around in the world as her is very appealing. Then you actually go and do it in the game and you're like, oh, I kind of wanted more.
Totally with
you. That's my final thoughts on it. Everyone should play it just to see what it has to offer. I think
play both of them. I'd say just play the first and second one. Like I think they're both
definitely
good experiences.
I could go back and play Senua 1 on PC and remember the good old days.
Keo, you've been playing a few other things. What have you got?
So the first thing I'm going to bring up is I was perusing the Microsoft Store and I came across something that I didn't really think that I'd have any interest in, but it was like $5, something that only came out on the 21st.
So many times.
Yeah. something that came out on the what it was like 21st of June or something. So no one's really played it yet, but it's called Whole IO.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
they have apparently the devs have like Paper 2 IO, which is already on the Xbox Store. But this one is basically a cross between, I would say, Pac-Man and Katamari Damacy
Right. Yep. I can
of
see.
sorts.
Yes. Okay. I can see. I'm looking at the
So it's
screenshots now.
basically a flat plane. You have a bunch of stuff in the environment. You have like six different maps or something, and you're just a hole in the ground. And all you do is just go on a flat plane over the surface, and you're just eating things. And when you eat things, you get bigger.
Right.
Is that like
So
Donut
I was going
County?
to Donut County is the first
is
thing that
it?
came to mind.
Is
Yeah.
it the same
Very
thing?
similar kind of
Kind of thing?
idea. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, cool. All
Donut
right.
County is a
Man,
much
Mm,
smaller
yeah.
sort of idea. But yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, every you can go anywhere underneath buildings, everything. So it's not fixed to any of the items. You don't go up the buildings or anything like that. You just go on the flat plane. And as you grow, you kind of have other AI characters with you as well. It's just like they're just roaming around, and if they're littler than you, you can eat them. If they're bigger than you've got to run away from them. Basically, you just move out of the way as a whole, and then you just get bigger and bigger, and there's some power ups and stuff like that. But essentially, like it's just really fun. It's just one of those things where if you had like four people in a room and you want to play local co-op, I don't know what the deal is with multiplayer because it's blacked out. It's there,
Mm.
and I don't know if it's because I don't have all the controllers plugged in or if it's online. I didn't really check, but you could just get everyone in a room and everyone's just trying to get to be the biggest hole to eat the other players.
Oh. Okay.
Right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
like the sounds of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually it would be great to play like as a streamer with a bunch of people and just trying to become the biggest hole. And all you're doing is eating items, you grow, and then from that, they have a really interesting infinite mode where it's kind of tactical because you have your upgrades where it's like magnets attract the items closer to you, but it's only like the round items like basketballs that will
Oh.
actually
Okay. Yep.
roll towards you because you don't have much suction at that point. But it's a fine line between the hole being too small for the item that needs to go in it because you won't suck it up. It won't fall into the hole.
Hmm.
So you have to upgrade yourself so that you're bigger, but then you can also upgrade the value of the things falling into the hole and the quantity per minute of things appearing on the screen and stuff
Oh.
like that.
Okay. Right.
So you have to
Kind
go
of like pick
between
and
all of
choose.
these things. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it'll take forever, but if I'm bigger, I can get more at once. But if I can get more at once and they're all gone, I have to wait for them to come back.
Gotcha.
So the infinite mode is not timed. So I left it, went to the loo, come back, and there was just like a shitload of stuff. So you could basically idle it because things were popping up in front of on top of the mouth as well. So the mouth of the hole, everything every now and then you get something popping up and it just falls straight into the hole.
Mm.
So you'd complete it eventually, right? So and you had to get to level 15 in infinite mode. There was an achievement for level 10, level 15. Level 14 and level 15 were a bit of a grind because I'm like, oh, I'll just go bigger. And then it's like, oh, well, it's going up too slow. I need, more. I need it to basic cost more. And you could get speed as well. You can go around the map faster. But if you do that, then you're also not getting, yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually really, really fun. And it looks like the collectibles in the map. Every time you play a map, you get like a card pack to open. It gives you a new collectible that you haven't picked up as far as I can see. So you just eventually you have to collect there's like 9 pets or whatever, and they're little stickers, and then you have to collect all the stickers. But then you might get a sticker of a pet, but you might get a sticker of like a person chilling on a bed or something.
Oh.
So but it looks like it's giving you new stuff every time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so you eventually get through it. You just replay a bunch of levels. You just replay. I think the office level is the smallest, or you can get the biggest, fastest, and then you basically can cover the whole room in a second. Because all of the themes are just different themed levels with different themed stuff in them,
Hmm.
and they're timed. Basically, they're on a time limit for the normal levels, and you've got other AI characters that are either bigger or smaller than you. So, and because if you can get the first couple of upgrades really quickly, You can eat a couple of the small guys, you'll grow even bigger, and then you're basically just zooming around the room
Definitely
with
sounds, yeah,
power-ups and stuff.
Katamari sounds very, very
Mm,
similar kind of
mm.
idea. That's
So
great.
yeah, so it's just like a play when you're bored kind of game. I really, really liked it, and yeah, it's a bunch of fun.
Cool.
So, and that's a new one. I don't think anyone's played it at all. Actually, Bottle of Sharks was on there, actually.
Oh, okay.
So they've played it. So,
Vudix has played it, but
oh
he
yeah,
He
just
plays
plays
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, there you go. I jumped back into Final Fantasy 14, and as I said before, I'm an idiot. I didn't prepare for the expansion at all, so I'm behind. One of the things I can say is if you they've got a thing called the Mog Store, which is basically real money things on the internet you buy for in-game to whatever. And with this particular character, it's the Australian character. I ended up getting, when they had it on sale at one point, the skip expansion
Oh, yep.
thing. So, but the problem is that you get enough XP for a character in an expansion to actually finish the expansion story content. But because I skipped two expansions because it was like a bundle, I ended up at level 73, but to access the next expansion, I needed to be 80.
Right. So you
So
kind of, hamstrung yourself.
I'm stuck at level 73 trying to grind out old shit and old story quests to get up to that to do with this character the last expansion because I know I'll get the XP out of it to get onto the new expansion. So that character's kind of behind unless I go ahead and buy like level upgrades or something. So
It
you're
sounded
gonna
like forged certifications from Titanfall all
yeah,
over
so
again.
Yeah.
alternatively, I could jump on my American character, and it's basically one title update away from doing the new expansion. But I can't do anything on it at the moment because all of the areas are blocked. I'd have to wait for it to calm down or get on when it's quiet, right, to do it. So I haven't started the new expansion yet. So I've been doing two things. I've been streaming Resident Evil 2 this week. I started that this week. It's really good. I have not played Resident Evil 2 remake yet, and I'm having a good time with it. Pretty much I finished the whole of the police station on the first stream, and it was just a matter of like first time playing the game, gonna chill out, just wander around. There's a whole bunch of familiar locations with all the new things that they added with the new puzzles and stuff like that. And I just spent like 4.5 hours just chilling, going around this police station, just like those games you're supposed to speed run in like 2-3 hours, all right?
Yeah, by the end of
So
it, yeah.
yeah. So and that was really good. So I'm really loving what they've done with the characters and stuff like that. So um
Yeah, I definitely want to
the
hear your thoughts by the time you finish it because it is one of the.
mm,
It's on Game Pass currently, and I did do 3 and enjoyed it, but 2 I hear has got a few challenging achievements in it.
it does, yeah. And I know the stream stuff is just going to be kicking through the story, and then I'll go back and do it. But because of Game Pass, I mean, I already have that. I already own the game, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter that
sure.
much. But but yeah, so I'm gonna do that in the Claire walk playthrough and go through and do the Ghost Survivors and stuff like that as well because they've got Hunk in there, but the other two Ghost Survivor things I don't think were in there. I don't think they've been part of the game before.
No, I think they're
So
new.
so
Yeah.
there'll be like new scenarios or whatever those Ghost Survivor modes are, if they're like just short little things or actual stories, I'm not sure. So I'll find out. So you can watch the stream if you can make it, Kill Live at home, Twitch. Other than that, Diablo 4. So everyone else has gotten to level 100, moved on with their lives, and you got all the achievements, found a carry for Uber Lilith, and you know what? I'm one of those people that are like, oh yeah, this character can solo Uber Lilith. I'm just gonna go and try and do it myself.
You seem to be getting pretty
So,
close. I've been watching your stuff.
mm, yeah, so I'm trying to I'm doing the rapid fire rogue build, which apparently was one of the builds that were doing like 130 level plus in the pit, which is the end game content. There, I'm up to level 25 of the pit running solo, and that's like I think the enemies are about that, like 125-ish.
Hmm.
So, and like we're all stuck at level 100, right? So it's really about min-maxing gear at this point. I've started to masterwork a couple of pieces of gear, and like I put in this Discord video last night of soloing Jurelia, which we struggled as a four-man group
Yeah.
close to level 100. So, and I'm just like shooting this thing down. So yeah, and I'm actually really enjoying it because that's kind of one of the excuses I had for doing it because we crammed through so much of the content, like really, really quickly. I'm like, right, what can I enjoy out of the end game experience that I haven't done? Oh, I'll try and min max, and these people are destroying Uber Lilith. I'll try and do that. I'm sure it's. I don't know. I haven't even tried because you have to farm resources. That's one of the problems. So I can't even do Duriel again because I don't even have enough resources. So even trying to get the resources to do the tormented version, which is the Uber version of them, is, you know, I have to look at that. And there's people screaming in the chat going, I only need one more run to get like this upgrade for my in Duriel, whatever. And then, so and yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, having fun with that too. So
You guys got through that pretty fast.
we did. We did.
We're
played
doing that
nearly every
nightly.
day.
Like that game.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the apps in there. Diablo 4, Diablo 4, Diablo 4. Occasionally Dead
It
Island,
was
but
so good. It was like I did not expect to be sucked in the way I was. Like I fucking love. Like I finished the game 75 hours.
Yeah.
But we started 14th of July, 14th of April, finished 26th of June for me. But it just flew by.
And I was a squishy ranged person that died multiple times per dungeon.
Yeah.
So for me to be the one rolling around by myself in the other dungeons is it's a different experience now. So that I've started like playing at my own pace, I guess you could say. So
I need to start like Risk of Rain or something. I need to get another co-op group together and do some stuff because I'm jonesing. I missed that experience now. I was like, man, I haven't had a good co-op game in ages, and now I'm like, fuck, that was so much fun.
yeah. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I did a quick little speed run of Gears of War 4 Horde today. Bought some packs with the coins that I got. I found a resupply card in there.
Oh, can't fucking leave it.
I saw it because you can press X to reveal all, and it shows you the color of them.
Yeah.
And then you press B before it actually turns them over, and I'm like, oh, I think I saw 4 purples, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if any of them was a resupply, and it was. It's a resupply.
They're just giving them away now.
Oh, mate, yeah. Have you guys been doing the boss rush mode? The boss rush event that they have on True Achievements?
I thought about doing it, but again, I haven't signed up for a TA event in a long time.
I signed up just because, yeah.
Well, Matt, would you mind humouring me and going to the homepage of TA and finding out what boss number 5 is? This will be a little Easter egg for people in the Discord.
I did see that.
Boss number 5 is the Witness. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ. The universe is out to fucking troll me. That does make a nice transition, though. I will skip right to the word challenge. Everyone's favorite competition, where I pick a game and you go and guess what the game is by going on our Discord. It's not the Witness. It's never
and what
been the
happens?
fucking Witness.
What happens if you guess the Witness?
If you guess the Witness, I put up a new GIF or something that tells you you're a fucking idiot and that it's not the Witness. I do have fun picking those GIFs, though. To be fair, I need to pick a new one, but. So we did have a winner. So the game was, it was a Microsoft IP. It had spin-off media, and it showed up at E3 2005. And Mr. Isaac, Logic Dad, question asker extraordinaire, finally got it with StarCraft Ghost.
There are some articles from 2005 that have got some traffic.
Yep.
IGN and other sites are going, why are people looking at that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. I love throwing that in there because I remember back in 2005 I was very, very excited for this game, and I remember seeing some coverage for it, and there was like a big booth they did for it, and this was one of the big games, and then of course it never came out, which was going to be my next clue, was this game actually isn't out and will probably never come out.
Yeah. I still have like a video game magazine that probably has articles in it. Like, we used to run, I think it was the Hyper magazine here in Australia. It was like one of the only really good ones. That was a good one.
Yeah.
So,
they did kind of put Nova in StarCraft 2 and did some of the storyline stuff there as well. But just, still sad that we never got that game because it seemed like such a cool idea.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Isaac. I will probably have a new clue for next week for a new game. So keep your ears open. We also have the leaderboard, which I'll quickly go through. Who's on the leaderboard this week? Alex, what are you doing, mate?
You have read my name out in shock
I mean,
in the last 2 episodes that I have listened to. Basically saying, what are you even doing here? And I was surprised to hear my own name as well.
yeah.
So, yes.
I mean, this you've made a commendable 4th place on this one.
To be fair, if there weren't 20 title updates released in the last week, I wouldn't be in 4th place.
Fair.
I would be probably 2nd or 1st, but who knows?
That's true. Yeah, it's probably likely.
It's not an excuse. I'm just saying.
But I figure it's nice to have you on to accept the award for showing up on a leaderboard sometimes.
Thank you.
In 3rd place, we've got Red 47 with 11,805. In 2nd, we have Mikhail KV with 12,330. And in 1st, we have Thrash Forever with 22,090. Again, we're back up to those fucking ridiculous numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Thrash had I remember when I was beating Thrash in Gamer Score, and now he's at over 3 million. Jesus Christ! All right, Keo, do you want to run through the completions this week?
As always, yes, I will. So Baron von Neumann did Bleach anime game. Bleach anime game? Is that the title?
It has some other title, but it was funny to me that it had something anime game at the end of it.
Oh yeah, is that? It might be the free to play one.
It's the new free to play gacha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chin's been playing it as well. They've been chatting, and Baron and Chin have been chatting about it.
I think Kiku wanted me to start it or something.
Yeah,
it sounds like a very Kiku game, doesn't
it?
it?
Definitely is. Yeah.
Aftos did Fist and PUBG.
So he finally got Fist done. The poor bastard.
Was so mad about that
spitting.
too.
Yep.
So many. What's wrong with this map? What am I missing? And people are like, here's what the map should look like. How do I get into that room?
Fucking one of the achievements glitched on me, so I had to replay half of it.
Yeah, so we've had some fun ones this week like that. The Moonzom did As Dusk Falls. Alpha D Pills here did Hellblade 1.
I love that username. I love that guy's username. That's the best.
Pills here.
Yeah.
Grabbing pills.
Phoenix did Dead Space Remake. Dude that writes long reviews did Dark Souls 2 and had completed the series, I believe, on, was it Steam?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think they're on PC.
Yeah.
PC, yeah.
Nice, which is good. McCall KV did Lego Movie Series. Both games or just
all three? I think he did the 360 stack and all that stuff as well.
The whole thing. That's a solid effort. They're not the longest games, but they're good. They got some banging tunes. You could say.
Everything is awesome. Apparently, so I'll have to admit I've never seen the movie, but I heard it was good.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome at the time. It's still pretty awesome, probably. I guess I haven't seen it since then. Just Jake did Need for Speed,
except for the ridiculous title update, which, to be fair, that's totally understandable. I'm not.
I looked at that. Has he got DLC that I own only turned on or something?
Of course he does.
Because it shows the tick for.
He does. Yeah.
Look,
no one's perfect.
Jake.
No one's perfect.
Jake, when you listen to this, come have a chat with me. I'll get you sorted out, man. I was once like you. I was wrong as well.
He's gonna do the achievement for you.
We'll have a chat about why you're wrong. Okay.
Okay. All right. Zach did Tech Glitch, and Vex173 did My Time in Porsche. So.
Yeah.
I feel like if you search My Time in Porsche on the wrong website.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's I think what was this My Time in Sandrock. I mean, if you autocorrect that, you're probably going to get something as well. So just keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Turn your safe search on.
Exactly. We've also got our Patreon, patreon.com/WallowGamers, if you want to help support the show. A huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavaliers07, Old Mate Clown, Mark B, McLovin Legend, Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. We literally couldn't afford to do the show without you. I literally just got the Patreon money for last month today, so I can afford to do the word challenge again and pay off our Buzzsprout. So thank you very much, guys. We reinvest all the money straight back into the podcast. And if you are interested, we do offer a bit of premium content, sort of before and after show stuff that we record. I kind of splice together whenever we have it, as well as our Lights, Camera, and Action show and any kind of extra content that we end up creating over the months. We'll chuck it up there, either exclusively or at least for a certain period of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's pretty much it. As always, we've done this show live on Twitch, Xbox Hall of Gamers. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. We love our community. What have you guys got going on? Alex, you're obviously a huge streamer. You got so much time on your hands.
Professor Pluto 1, mate. That's where you can find me on Twitch. Okay, don't forget it.
No, how could we? How could we?
So Shadowless Edge _ actually, that's where you can find me. That's where I'm doing all my streaming. So if you want to see elite streams, go there.
You could probably have that now because he's changed it to AU. So.
Oh, he did change it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could find me on Amaranth. I've actually it's all a filter, but that's fine if you want to.
Yeah,
just AI. Just
it's all AI, exactly.
No, I don't stream. I just play video games. You can find me on Xbox, TA, Twitter/X. You can find me there, Professor Pluto, all one word, nice and easy.
Okay.
Cool.
Kia.
And yeah, so you can catch me streaming over on Twitch at Kia Live at Home. Pretty much you can find me in most places at Kia Live at Home, but over on Twitch, doing the Resident Evil series at the moment. So come over and watch me do the remake 2, 3, and 4 next, and then moving on to some of the old stuff, including 5 and 6. And 6 is going to be fun.
6 is going to be
so.
good.
But yeah, other than that, you can find me at How to Fix Gaming on YouTube. That's where all my other content goes. A couple of guides, and all my streams are up there, probably in better quality because I stream in 1440p, so they actually show up in better quality over there overall. So yeah.
And I'm Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. As always, we put this show live, like I said, but I also put all the VODs on YouTube. So if you want to catch up on the episodes, that's the best place to do it. If you're an audio-only listener and you want to see our beautiful faces. But that's been episode 130. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Peace out.
Bye.